Hello everyone, my name is Carrow. I am an urban fantasy author and I'm here to talk to you about my Notion board. And I decided to do this because I did a little poll on my YouTube channel community tab and asked you guys what you were interested in. I gave you some options and the Notion board came in second after tarot card reading for the month. So did my tarot card, now we're doing Notion. Now Notion, for those of you who are curious, it's what I like to call an everything software. You can pretty much do anything that you want to do with it if you are determined enough, but what I really like about it is that it is a fantastic project management software, and you can do note keeping in it too if you really are determined to do that. I wouldn't say it's the best one for that, but you can make it happen if you really want to. And what we're looking at right now is my dashboard. This is everything that I am kind of looking at, tracking, and this template actually comes from Thomas Frank, and I'm going to leave a link to his channel down below because he's got two videos about this template, one explaining how it works and two explaining how to build it if you are very interested in doing that, because when you start working with Notion you don't get all of this. It's literally just a blank piece of paper, so to speak. So if you want a template and you want to hit the ground running, go check out his stuff and go ahead and get that template after you sign up for his newsletter. So I'm not going to dilly-dally too long. We'll go ahead and dive into this. I will say before I actually dive into this that this is a very visually heavily dependent video, and so is this software. So if you are visually impaired, this video may not give you a lot of good insight, but if you want to listen to the sound of my voice for the next half hour, you are welcome to stay. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we have. So first thing we have is a banner, and I put that banner there because it's soothing and it's nice, and I want to come to my dashboard with those nice soothing feelings. Up here you guys are looking at 9 notebooks that I keep for different reasons. Journal for journaling's sake, my reading corner for reading tracking. I got my finances, I got Second Brain, Rolodex, my tarot stuff, I've got my gaming group, I've got my tarot business, and I've got a video tracker. I will be honest with the video tracker, it's very empty, just because I'm still trying to get back into making videos and it's a struggle for me right now, so I really do appreciate your guys' patience on that. Under that I have called the drop zone, and what I do with the drop zone, it's supposed to be like a daily task archive. That's what Thomas Frank uses it for, but what I do is I put in things that I need to like remember to do, but I haven't quite done them, and I just want to put them somewhere where I can see it so that way I can remember to do it. So I have a couple things in here like, you know, update the gaming notebook because it's out of date, and I haven't updated in a week. And then like I have Grandpa's wants, and I put the wants in quotations because Grandpa doesn't want any of this stuff. My aunt wants it for him, so I just put it there for him. And under that, that's where we start getting kind of busy because this is my calendar of things that I try to get done in the month every day. And everything that I meant to get done today, I did. So this video is kind of like a bonus. It's like my reward for knocking everything out. Tomorrow I have final content edits for fine print that I need to do, so that's on there. I've got to do my tarot card edits for NaNoWriMo. Even though I'm a Nano rebel, I still say I'm doing it for Nano. I've got fitness challenge. I'm playing Beat Saber every day for this month, and then I've got like a club meeting tomorrow that I need to go to. So those are all the things that I know that I need to get done. And one thing that you can do that I do like is you can come in here and put the times in here. So for example, let's say, you know, I do Beat Saber at 6:30 in the morning, and let's say I wanted to do my tarot cards after I get done working out. So I can come in here, put 7 a.m., hit enter, and if you come back and take a look, it just puts it right under there. So it can kind of work like an agenda if you really want it to, or you can just leave everything blank and it'll just put it there in the order that you typed it pretty much. Under all of that, because I'm sure you guys are wondering where all this came from, under that I have every project that I'm working on right now, and I mean all of them, and there's a couple of covers in here so you guys can oogle them if you want. This is everything from the book or the novella that I have coming out in December, stuff related to the house. I've got a big to-do list with the house, and I mean, I'm talking like renovations need to happen, so I put it all in there. I've got all the club activities. Let's see, I've got like a life coaching certification that I'm in the middle of finishing up, and then after that I'm going to turn this into tracking all the stuff I do involving life coaching. I've got my remote work, like so for Eric, Skull Press, and Home Companion, that's all the remote work that I do for them. A mistake that I made was I thought I should put quarterly goals on here, and I'll tell you guys what, this did not work out for me at all. I'll be really frank. What ended up working out for me is everything that I put in here to try and get done for the quarter, I ended up making its own notebook. Like that's what I ended up doing. So next quarter, I don't think I'm going to actually do this like I have right here. What I may do is next quarter, I'll put a note that says quarter 1 goals for 2022. and do it that way. So that way this isn't down here. The only reason I haven't taken it off yet is because I just want that reminder that, you know, this didn't work and and all of that. And under that I have my I am statements, and what I do with the I am statements is everything that I'm working on up here needs to be related to an I am statement. So like, I am a reader, I'm an author, I am organized, lifelong learner, FC, you know, all these things that I say that I am, fit and healthy, right? I have it right on here. So that is a thing that I try to do, and you can really dive in here and do some amazing stuff with this template that Thomas made. I'm a Shameless Thomas Frank fan, by the way, if you guys hadn't noticed. So actually, one thing that I want to do is I want to set up my Patreon. I've been fighting that for a while, but I'm giving up the ghost. I'm going to set it up. And so, you know, I can set it up and I can turn, I don't know, is there a P in that alphabet? Here, we'll do that. All right, so Patreon. And I can put things, and you can put tasks in here. This is what I really like about it. So let's say setup page, right? So that's something that I gotta do. So I can come in here and I can set these things up, and I can give it a due date. But I can already tell you that these things have more than one step to them. So what I can do is I can open that. Yeah, I'm blowing your mind right now, right? Is I can open that, and now I can set in more tasks that I can do. So let's say that I want to do the Patreon, if I can spell the word, Patreon tiers, right? So let's say I want to do Patreon tiers, and I'll need to set that up tomorrow, right? And, you know, I really don't want to mess around with it too much, so why don't I say that I get it done at 7 a.m. I got Beat Saber. Let's say I get done at 8 a.m. And I might forget because I just now put it on here, so what I'll do is 1 hour before I will have an alarm go off, right? And so if I go and I take a look, pop out of here and go take a look at tomorrow, I can see that it says Patreon tiers right here that needs to get done at 8 a.m. And then I know it's on setup page. Now, as you guys can tell, it's a little hard for me to know 100% what this is setup page means. And same thing for NaNoWriMo, right? So you can come in here and you can kind of play with this a little bit if you need to. Let's see. So I'm just going to put a purple dot on here for right now. And in my brain, I'll know that that purple dot has to do with Patreon. So you can go in there and change like the emojis and the icons and things like that if you need to, which I find to be really useful. And this is honestly, like it says right here, this is my Sanity Keeper. This is where I come in and I plan things and I look at my calendar and I figure out what I can do and when I can do it and all of that stuff. And I absolutely love it. And if this overwhelms you too much, this does have several views that you can actually do. So I finished everything today, but let's take a look at like tomorrow, right? So I can take a look at everything tomorrow, and I can, like, let's say that I finished the final content edits tomorrow. I can click on that and it's done. And the same thing with like Beat Saber and the Patreon tiers, all that jazz. I can have that taken care of. Now, I know some of you guys are looking at this section right here, and this really has to do with reoccurring tasks, if there are reoccurring tasks, and I'm not going to dive into that because this is not that kind of video. Thomas Frank does dive into it in his video if you want to take a look at it. It's his workaround for having reoccurring tasks, so if that's something that you're interested in, please check it out. And you can do everything from looking at tasks that you have tomorrow to looking at tasks that you have next week, and I'm not a huge fan of that just because that's a little overwhelming. So I usually either keep it to today or I keep it to tomorrow and I call it a day. So that leaves these other binders that we have. We got the journal, reading corner, and journal is pretty much what you're looking at. You know, this is where I do all of my journaling and everything like that. And sometimes I write every day and sometimes I don't, and that is a-okay for me. A nice thing that you guys can do if you're interested in doing it is you can actually make templates in here. So I have a morning journal template. And what I do in here, these are just my morning routine. Brush teeth, take medication, all this stuff, and then I click it, boom, 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 I'm done. And I wrote how much time it takes for me to do it because sometimes if I see it only takes me 5 minutes to do something, I'm more likely to go do it. And then after that, I've got my morning pages where I come in and I type whatever it is that I need to type. And I've got the word of the day where I go to Webster's Dictionary and I type in the word of the day and, you know, take a look at that. Let's see. And the reading corner is kind of like my personal Goodreads where I just track everything that I'm reading. You know, for the most part, there's some gaps here, but I track what I'm reading, when I read it, when I finished it, and as you guys can tell, my review on this stuff is pretty sparse. It's really more like memory triggers for me. And for some reason, I put when I started the book, when I think I'm going to finish it, when I actually finish it. And why did I do that? I have no idea. It's some weird data collecting thing that I wanted to do for myself. But right up here where I've got TBR, I've got a list of other books that I want to work on. So the nice thing about this is that I can just take it and drop it down if I'm going to start reading it. But I am not ready to start reading this book yet because my book club has not started it yet. So I've got a Rolodex, and I would click on this, but it's got my family stuff in there, and as much as I love you guys, I don't want you guys to know my family name. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the Rolodex for my gaming group instead. Because these are all fictional characters. Within the group, I have a lot of people that I need to track, and in all reality, I really should have done this for author too, because this would have made my life so much simpler. But I have everybody in the gaming group, and I have what group they're actually affiliated with. I have the last time that I talked to them, how I talked to them, and because I'm Carrow, I have a pronunciation guide, because, you know, real life names are already difficult, but make fantasy names, I'm gonna die over here. Like, I really am. What I have right here, the TTR, this is things to remember, and these are things that I have to remember for both the player and the character. So in this case, this player just got a new job, so I know he's not around very often. He's mentally drained at the end of the day. This person, actually, he's not in the middle of a move. He has moved, so he's done. See, one thing that you can do if you're interested is you can put in like those reminders. So like right here, I have a reminder set up for Till's birthday next year with a 2-day reminder, so that way I can at least make sure that I do something beforehand. I should really, hold on. Let's make that a week before, so I can at least send a card. And the really nice thing about these is you can get pretty extensive with the information that you keep in them. So who do I want to pick on? We'll pick on Renvor again. So in here, I can put a banner of his character. I can put like the cute emoji of his character. And then because these are fictional characters and I have a hard time remembering stuff, I have like a little section where I type in things about their character that my character knows. My character obviously doesn't know jack shit about this character, so that might be something I need to fix. And then under that, I have a list of engagements that I've had with this person. I used to keep it up here, like how you see it, but this isn't really working out, so I ended up making this chart instead. And this works out way better. And I'll tell you what, man, I'm a big fan of this. This really saves me a lot of time. And I know some of you might ask why I have to keep extensive notes like that. And if you happen to roleplay in an MMO, I think you guys realize that sometimes there's a continuity issue where sometimes we can't remember what happened and when it happened. So this is really something that's more for me, for my record keeping purposes, just so I have that memory. So for example, like Kane, he's pretty sparse as well. Like he did a trial on the 9th, right? So I remember that on the 9th he did his trial, and then we had a conversation afterwards about him taking on the role lead. So at least that way I'll know. So if somebody says, hey, when did you talk to them about this? I'll be like, it was on November 9th. Because my brain is full of lots of things, and trying to remember all that stuff just really does not help me out very much. The other thing that I track here on Notion is my little side gig I've got called Timekeeper Tarot. And this is my tarot reading business. And if you're interested, link down below. Please check it out. Thank you, thank you. And in here, it's a little bit of a work in progress because this looks a lot like my Sanity Keeper. And one thing I learned when I started setting this up is that I need to really keep a lot of the things that are like the business objective stuff here for Timekeeper. I need to keep it on this calendar right here. It has its own thing just for that reason. So, you know, business avatar, that's actually in the works right now. You know, everything that I need to do to set, wow, I spelled Etsy wrong. Oh my goodness. I'm glad you guys are patient with me. So everything that needs to happen for the business really needs to be kept in here. But everything on the internal, like tracking the finances for any meeting notes that I have, people that I have to stay in contact with, which is really going to come into play when I start printing out a tarot deck, because that's definitely in the works. And then inventory management, because if I'm printing a deck and if I'm making a book, I got to do inventory for it. So. And then these are right here where it says the orders. This is basically the writing that I have for the Etsy orders, which are still a work in progress. I haven't gotten there yet. But everything else that's under here may not stay. Just being honest with myself, because like I said, everything that I probably need to track that's happening here needs to be on the Sanity Keeper, not in the binder. So this will be more for like business internals and not so much, you know, the tracking of the day-to-day. And then let's see. I would go over the finance template, but that's really personal for me right now, so I'm not going to do that. the second brain, which the whole thing is kind of a second brain, but what I do with this is I track all of my learning. And if you are an author, you know that you guys do so much research, and sometimes you really got to put all that stuff in one place that you can go back and find. And that is what I'm doing with this right now. And I've had some weird leanings this year. I took a class on how to live with chronic conditions. And when I say take a class, I wasn't talking about me learning to live. It was me becoming certified to teach other people. I don't know why I did this, but I did. So I did that class, and then I'm in the middle of a life coaching class. So everything that I'm taking for the life coaching certification, that's in there. I had one thing that I'm doing for a book that I'm working on is this character that I'm writing is supposed to be really good with, like, you know, medical stuff, but I am not a medical person. I don't know a lot, so I'm in the middle of researching all of these things right now. And you can get as in-depth or not as in-depth as you want with these notes. It's really up to you. But what I did here is, you know, I put it in the category of trauma and environment, because shock happens from, you know, trauma and environmental stuff. And I have 2 reference videos, technically 3, because this one is 6 minutes for a quick refresher. This one is a 40-minute one that I use that really dives in deep to the different types of shock that are out there. And then the doctor in this video said that in order to really understand shock, I needed to understand low blood pressure. So I have this video for me to watch later. Haven't done it yet. It's on the to-do list. And then after that, these are all my notes about shock, the different kinds of shock, you know, some terminology that keeps showing up when I was reading about shock, the main concern with shock, causes for shock, symptoms of shock, and then treatment for shock. So this was really more for me to know as I was writing about this person, you know, helping people that were in shock. So if you are interested in kind of making a reference tool like that, I would say Notion's actually your second best. It's not your first best option, only because Evernote was made for the purpose of note-taking, so it's really more intensive and geared towards note-taking. But if you are interested in doing that with Notion, you can do that here. I will say that there's a lot more that you can do with this program. Like, you can tag different things, you can hashtags and link it together and kind of make like a pseudo brain of sorts. That is a little bit beyond me, but I do know that you are able to do it. So, and you can put as many notebooks in here as you want and make it look like however you want. And I really love it. I love this program so much, guys. But that is pretty much going to be it for my Notion video. I kind of went over in the video what I track in here, what it looks like. And again, if you guys want this template, like I said at the start of the video, link to Thomas's video, because, you know, first name basis, we're not really friends, but, you know, I'll pretend in my brain. But a link to Thomas Frank's video down below, and if you sign up for his newsletter, you get this template for free. So I recommend doing it, especially if you're interested in knowing more about productivity, because that's really what his channel's about. Yeah, so this is me and my Sanity Keeper, and I'll tell you what, guys, I have used this for 4 months and it has helped me out so much, and I absolutely love it, and I'm hoping that I'll keep sticking with it, because what I was doing before is I was using a bullet journal, and what happened is my bullet journal got so intensive, and with all this stuff that I was trying to track, is that I ended up carrying like a giant brick, and I couldn't do it anymore. And what I really do love about Notion is that you can take it and it's mobile. You can use it, you can open it on a web browser, you can open it on your phone, and this is my desktop app right here. So it's really good, y'all. I really like it, and I highly encourage you guys to at least consider it if you have the ability to consider it. But that is pretty much going to be it for my video about me gushing about how much I love Notion. But I am curious if you think that this could be useful for you. If so, feel free to explain why. Or if you're like, no, I can't use this because I can't see the screen, you can tell me that too. I am more than happy to hear what works for you guys and what doesn't work. And I know that there's mixed thoughts on Notion, and I am kind of curious as a community what we think about Notion as well, and how we might want to, I guess, emulate that in our lives and what that would look like for us. So anyway, just general thought. I don't know if I mentioned this before. The personal version of Notion is free, and the only thing that stopped me from getting it, like I think a year and a half ago, was it was like $5 a month. So when I found out it was free $50, I went in and I set all this up, and then I am on the personal program right now, only because for my series Bible that I have in here, which I didn't show, but for my series Bibles I do have character sketches that are in there, and those files are a little bit bigger than Notion allows for the free version. So I just said, screw it, and I just got the paid one, so that way I have all my imagery somewhere. So if that's something that you want to do, you can do that too. And you guys can share this with team members. You can make it public if you want. Like, there's so much you can do with this. And I am, like I said, a really big fan. And if you were looking for a free alternative, this is a very big recommendation from me to you for you guys to consider. But anyway, so I left you guys with the question about what you think about it, if this would work for you, why or why not. And I think I'm going to go ahead and sign off on that. Thank you guys for coming and listening and watching me click around on my Sanity Keeper. And I will talk to you all again real soon. Bye.